असेसमेंट एंड ऑडिट सेक्शन 59 से लेकर के 64 तक। सेक्शन 59 से लेकर हम लोग 64 तक करेंगे सेल्फ असेसमेंट का मतलब सेक्शन 59 में एवरी रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन सेल्फ असेस द टैक्स पेबल अंडर दिस एक्ट एंड फर्निश ए रिटर्न फॉर ईच टैक्स पीरियड। बोलता है एवरी रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन सेल्फ असेस द टैक्स पेबल अंडर दिस एक्ट एंड फर्निश द रिटर्न फॉर ईच टैक्स पीरियड। सेक्शन 60 प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट बोलता है प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट प्रोवाइड द मैटर फॉर डिटरमाइनिंग द टैक्स लायबिलिटी इन केस ऑफ टैक्सेबल पर्सन। बोलता है प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट प्रोवाइड द मैटर फॉर डिटरमाइनिंग द टैक्स लायबिलिटी इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ taxable persons who is unable to determine the value of taxable goods or services या unable to determine the rate applicable thereto at the time of supply where the value और rate नहीं determine कर रहा है तो वो प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट करवा सकता है। द प्रॉपर ऑफिसर शैल इशू द ऑर्डर विद इन ए पीरियड ऑफ 90 days फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ रिक्वेस्ट। बोलता है प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट शैल प्रोवाइड द मैथड फॉर डिटरमाइनिंग द टैक्स लायबिलिटी in case where the taxable person is unable to determine the value of taxable goods or service or determine the rate applicable thereto at the time of supply. Proper officer shall issue the order within a period of 90 days of the receipt of request. Furnishing of bond or security. Payment of tax on a provisional basis may be allowed. Payment of tax on provisional basis may be allowed if the taxable persons execute a bond along with security. बोलता है पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स ऑन प्रोविजनल बेसिस में बी अलाउड। पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स ऑन प्रोविजनल बेसिस में बी अलाउड इफ टैक्सेबल पर्सन्स एग्जीक्यूट ए बॉन्ड along with security, that is 25% of the amount. Here the taxpayer bind himself to pay differential tax if any payable on finalization of provisional assessment. बोलता है फाइनलाइजेशन ऑफ प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट का फाइनलाइजेशन कब तक कर सकता है तो टाइम लिमिट 6 मंथ फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन ऑफ प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट। जिस दिन प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट दिया है उससे 6 महीना से अंदर फाइनल असेसमेंट कर देगा। लेकिन ऑन सफिशिएंट कॉज बीइंग शोन एंड फॉर द रीजंस टू बी रिकॉर्डेड इन राइटिंग। ऑन सफिशिएंट कॉज बीइंग शोन और रीजंस टू बी रिकॉर्डेड इन राइटिंग एडिशनल कमिश्नर और जॉइंट कमिश्नर कैन एक्सटेंड द फर्दर पीरियड ऑफ 6 मंथ। और कमिश्नर चाहेगा तो वो 6 मंथ से और बढ़ा सकता है। जॉइंट कमिश्नर छोटा बच्चा है और जॉइंट कमिश्नर और एडिशनल कमिश्नर छोटा बच्चा तो 6 महीना तक 6 से जॉइंट कमिश्नर तो वो 6 महीना से बढ़ा सकता है। ठीक है, तो छोटा बच्चा है 6 महीना से बढ़ा सकता है और कमिश्नर बड़ा बच्चा है तो वो 4 साल तक बढ़ा सकता है। वेयर द liability as per final assessment is higher than the provisional assessment. Where the liability as per the final assessment is higher than the provisional assessment, interest at the rate of 18% will be payable by the taxable person from the first date after the due date of payment of tax till the date of actual payment. From the first day after the due date of payment of tax till the date of actual payment of tax. Where the tax liability as per the final assessment is less, where the tax liability as per final assessment is less than the provisional assessment, interest at the rate of 16% shall be paid to the registered person for a period exceeding 60 days from the date of filing of applications for refund, subject to eligibility of refund and absence of unjust enrichment. Release of security deposit. बोलता within 7 days of the within 7 working days from the date of receipt of application. स्क्रूटनी ऑफ रिटर्न कब करा सकता है? प्रॉपर ऑफिसर में ऑथराइज the return to verify the correctness. In case of any discrepancy, proper officer issue the notice seeking the explanations within a time not exceeding 30 days from the date of service of notice. बोलता proper officer in case of any discrepancy, proper officer shall issue the notice seeking the explanations within such time not exceeding 30 days from the date of service of notice. The registered person shall within 30 days from the date of receipt of order either accept the discrepancy or pay the tax along with the interest and furnish an explanation regarding the non-acceptance of discrepancy. In case of no satisfactory explanation is furnished, where the registered person has failed to take the corrective actions after accepting the discrepancy, proper officer may proceed to conduct the audit under section 65 Proper officer proceed to conduct the audit under section 65 or direct the conduct of a special audit under section 66 by chartered accountant, cost accountant, undertake the procedure for inspection search and seizure under section 67 और बोलता है initiate the proceeding of, under section 73 or 74 demand and recovery. Assessment of non-filer of return based judgment assessment in case of registered person बोलता है where the registered person fails to furnish the return, that is monthly return or quarterly return under section monthly return under section 39 or quarterly return under section 45, and the proper officer has issued the notice under section 46 requiring the taxable persons to furnish the return within a period of 15 days and taxable person fails to do so, the proper officer may pass the assessment may assess the tax liability of the said persons or of said persons to best of his judgment, taking into the account of all relevant material which are available and which he has gathered. Time limit 5 years बोलता है time limit within a period of 5 years from the date of specified under section 44 for furnishing of annual return. Time limit क्या है? Within a period of 5 years from the date of filing of a furnishing of annual return. Withdrawal of assessment where the registered person furnish a valid return for the default period within 30 days of the service of assessment order pass the base judgment assessment where the registered person furnish the valid return for the defaulted period within 30 days of the service of assessment order passed on base judgment basis. The said judgment order shall deemed to have been withdrawn, but the liability to pay interest under section 50 liability to pay interest at the rate of 18% under section 50 or payment of late fee rupees 100 per day or subject to maximum 500 under this under section 40 shall continue. Summary assessment of unregistered persons बोलता है proper officer issue the notice within a period of 5 years from the due date of filing of annual return for the financial year to the which non-payment of tax relate. Before making the assessment order, PO shall issue the notice containing the ground on which assessment of purpose to be made or taxable person shall be given 15 days to furnish the reply. No assessment shall be made. No assessment order shall be passed before giving the reasonable opportunity of being heard. Summary assessment under section 64. Proper officer has the reasons to believe that if the proper officer has the reasons to believe that delay in passing assessment order may adversely affect the interest of revenue, he may initiate summary assessment with the prior approval of additional commissioner or joint commissioner. Proper officer has a sufficient cause to believe that in case of passing assessment order he may adversely बोलता proper officer has sufficient cause to believe that any delay in passing the assessment order may adversely affect the revenue of interest of revenue. He may initiate summary assessment with the prior approval of additional commissioner or joint commissioner. Withdrawal of assessment order कब हो सकता है? ACJC additional commissioner or joint commissioner may withdraw the application. Additional commissioner or joint commissioner may withdraw either the applications may withdraw either on application made by a taxable person within a period of 30 days from the date of receipt of order or suo moto where he find that order to be erroneous बोलता है ACJC may withdraw the application may withdraw either on application made by taxable persons within a period of 30 days from the date of order or suo moto where he find that he find the order is erroneous. बोलता है deemed taxable person in case of supply of goods बोलता है where a taxable person is not ascertainable then person in charge of the goods shall deemed to be taxable person and he shall be liable to pay tax or any amount there under this act. बोलता है audit to be conducted by tax authority departmental audit का section 65 में होता है. Commissioner या any person authorized by him may conduct the audit of registered person for the period of financial year or part thereof or multiple thereof. बोलता है audit to be conducted at the registered place of the business or their office. बोलता है prior notice not less than 15 days to be issued by the proper officer before the commencement of audit. बोलता prior notice not prior notice not less than 15 days to be issued by the proper officer before the commencement audit. Completion of audit within 3 months from the date of commencement of audit. Extensions of maximum 6 months may be granted by the commissioner. Extension may be extension of maximum 6 months may be granted by the commissioner. Audit conclusion of audit where the audit result in detection of tax not paid, short paid या erroneously refunded या input tax has been wrongly availed or utilized. Proper officer may initiate the action under section 73-74. बोलता है where the audit result in detection of tax not paid, short paid या tax has been erroneously refunded and ITC has been wrongly availed or utilized. Proper officer may initiate the recovery proceeding under section 73-74. Before, what do you mean by commencement of audit? Commencement of audit means later of the following date on which record or account called for the audit called for by the authority are made available to them. बोलता है the date on which record are made available to them, the date on which account and record are made available to them या actual institution of audit at the place of business of the taxpayer या actual institutions of audit at the place of business of the taxpayer, whichever is later. बोलता है section 66 special audit where at any stage of the scrutiny, inquiry, investigations या any proceeding before him officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner or joint commissioner officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner having regard to the nature of complexity or case of the opinion. बोलता है at any stage of the scrutiny, inquiry or investigations any of the proceeding before him. बोलता at any stage of the as in scrutiny, inquiry or investigation से any proceeding before him officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner having regard to the nature of complexity of the case in the opinion that value has not been correctly declared या ITC availed is not within the normal limit. ITC availed within not within the normal limit या value has not been correctly determined. He may nominate the charter accountant या cost accountant for the audit with the prior approval of commissioner. बोलता है the provisions of a special audit shall have the effect even if the account of registered बोलता है the provisions of the special audit shall have the effect even if the registered persons have been audited under the provisions under this act या any provisions of the act या under this act या under the provisions of any other act. बोलता है the provisions for special audit shall have the effect even if the account of registered persons have been audited under any other provisions of the GST Act या any other law for time being enforced. बोलता है time period for completion of audit बोलता है 90 days. Extension of maximum 90 days may be granted by assistant commissioner. बोलता है the expenses including the remunerations of charter accountant, cost accountant shall be borne by the commissioner or such determination shall be final. Conclusion of a special audit where the audit result in detection of tax not paid, tax has been short paid या erroneously refunded या ITC has been wrongly availed या utilized. The proper officer may initiate the recovery of demand अंडर सेक्शन 73-74 73 में नॉर्मल और 74 में मतलब तुम्हारा वो फ्रॉड वाला केस में बोलता है डिमांड अदर देन फ्रॉड डिमांड इन केस ऑफ फ्रॉड 73 फ्रॉड अदर देन फ्रॉड और डिमांड इन केस ऑफ फ्रॉड बोलता है इंडिपेंडेंट ऑडिट बाय कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंट वेयर द एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर ऑफ द रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन एक्सीड द प्रिस्क्राइब लिमिट मतलब 2 करोड़ से ज़्यादा है तो थैंक यू.